Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and with the power vested in me from nobody in particular, it would be my honor to welcome you to the coveted White House Correspondents' Dinner, featuring everybody's favorite guy and my personal inspiration, Mr. Ronald Reagan. I'm Ellen DeGeneres, and I'll be your Masters of Ceremonies for tonight. You may know me as being Showtime's funniest person in America, or from my extensive and impressive acting career or upcoming sitcom Open House. I'd like to take a quick moment to thank everyone for showing up tonight, especially you, Ronnie. I've been waiting for this opportunity for years, considering you decided to not show up for the last one. Never mind that, we're here now, and I've invited a few guest speakers to help discuss President Reagan with me. I'd like to say, I was very impressed with your governorship in California, Ronnie. Tell me though, is there still hippies everywhere out there? You know, they've always kind of scared me and too peaceful. I also heard you switched from being a Democrat to a Republican. Now, I'm not judging, I change my mind all the time, but let's just hope you don't change your mind about being president. So without further ado, let me introduce our first guest, First Lady Nancy Reagan. Yes, wife of Ronnie herself, a real firecracker, that one. So watch out for Miss Reagan. And I'm just saying no, but take it away.
Hello everyone, and thank you for welcoming me to speak here. Time really does fly when you're in the White House. It seems like just weeks ago that my husband was trying to be famous with mediocre acting skills. And just days ago that he, the epitome of republicanism, was the governor of California, where the hippies roam free. Looking back on the days before presidency brings a wave of nostalgia. But some good things have come out of this new job of his. I just love Ronnie managed all the foreign issues. He basically ended the Cold War. Not every person can say that their husband did that. The people of the United States have started to call my husband the great communicator. Let me just tell you, if you lived with him, you would not be calling him that. Just the other night, we were supposed to have dinner, and he just forgot to tell me. How do you just forget to tell someone that you canceled dinner plans? You have all the time in the world when it comes to dealing with Gorbachev, but when it comes to me, you have none. And also, you are so forgetful. You should be able to know the day of the week or what meetings you have without referring to me, okay? Also, I get it. You were almost assassinated. But it's not that big of a deal. It happened years ago. Not everyone is that obsessed with you, okay? Oh, Ronnie, I just want to go back to the days before our kids hated us. That's right, our little Patty wrote a book about us, a whole book about how much she hates us. Anyways, seem to have gone a bit off track there. Some pent-up emotions. But I do truly love my husband and everything that he's done for this country. Thank you.
Our next speaker is sure to be a real thriller. I just can't stop loving this smooth criminal with the pipes of an angel. Please help me welcome Mr. Michael Jackson to the stage.
Hey y'all, it's me, Michael, and I would like to thank Ellen for that wonderful introduction. Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, you are in the presence of American royalty. And no, not the first family, but I, the king of pop. Earlier, we did hear from the beautiful Mrs. Nancy Reagan and her view on the man some called the great communicator. But did you know President Reagan had another nickname? Yep, the poor man's Jimmy Stewart. He took a lot of B-level movies for Ronnie to get this little title, many of which were westerns. Personally, I can't even imagine President Reagan riding horses and shooting cowboys after seeing him cuddle up to his little dog Rex. His pre-political career grew beyond the big screen though, and he was once president of the SAG. My first thought was, well, that makes sense, seeing that he and his skin could use a trip to my plastic surgeon's office. But then someone told me it stood for Screen Actors Guild. I guess to some people that makes more sense. President Reagan's acting career, though, was not his greatest influence on my life. As an African-American man, his social work as president had the deepest effect on me. Like many others, him supporting sanctions had a positive influence, but it took a lot of talking with the man in the mirror for him to make this decision. You also nominated the first female Supreme Court Justice, Sandra Day O'Connor, which is a step forward for civil rights, along with your protection of African-American colleges. Although some of your more conservative nominations had me a little nervous. But I know with you in charge, America's on the right path. Some people are just good at correct enunciation. From sports announcer, to actor, to politician, you are a great leader of the people. Thanks y'all, and have a good rest of the night.
Now with our next guest, I feel like the roles have been reversed. I'm introducing one of the most notorious commentators and interviewers known to Americans, Miss Barbara Walters. I'm sure this journalist is dying to give us an inside look as to what she's thinking. Take it away, Miss Walters.
Everyone, a big thank you to Ellen for that warm introduction, to the President himself for having us all tonight. I'd like to start with a quote. "We can't help everyone, but everyone can help someone." Ronald Reagan is known for this quote, but he may have taken it a little too far when it came to the contra-rebels in Nicaragua. As I'm sure most of you know, considering it is our job as the media, the Iran-Contra affair was a very big deal. First, arms were sold illegally to Iran. Then, a good portion of that money was secretly given to the contra-rebels. Now, don't worry, Mr. President. I understand that the decision between dealing with terrorists and not dealing with terrorists is a very hard one. It's a good thing that Oliver North helped him make those decisions. President Reagan and I have a lot in common in our paths of success leading us to tonight. I blazed the path for women in media, shattering glass ceilings through hard work, dedication, and never taking no for an answer. President Reagan was born good-looking and became an actor. I'm the first female co-anchor of ABC World News, and you are the first actor to be president. So we clearly took the same path, except maybe mine was uphill gravel and yours was downhill pavement. But in all fairness, training to be an actor, as well as his subsequent charm and charisma, has been the most surprising weapons in the collapse of the wall and ending of the Cold War. Who knew we were one bromance away from the end of the decades of passive aggressiveness? If they play around together anymore, we'll have to make a movie together called Dutch and the Iron Curtain Kid. I've had the great honor to interview Michael Jackson, our First Lady, and you, Mr. President, and you're by far my favorite person to interview because you talk just as funny as I do, and that's no easy feat. Thank you again for having me on tonight. It's been a pleasure. Good night, everyone.
We've reached our final guest, and I'm running short on time, so without any dilly-dallying, I introduce to you the man of the hour himself, and my close friend. Well, no, never mind, not really. America's 40th president, Mr. Ronald Reagan.
Born in the USA, I was born in the USA.
Hello everyone, and thank you for attending my final Correspondents dinner. Thank you for all those ringing endorsements, especially from you, Nancy. From the very beginning of my presidency, the media and all of our liberal friends have opposed me at every corner, tried to stop my agenda dead in its tracks, and in John Hinckley Jr.'s case, literally, tried to stop me dead in my tracks. I'm often seen as the man who accomplished bringing inflation down 6%, collapse of the Berlin Wall, and winning 49 states in the 1984 presidential election. However, despite all these achievements, I still can't quite seem to understand how not to make my wife mad at me. I'm often credited with ending the Cold War. This proves that even a conservative can talk to a communist without ending in a fistfight. Communism is something, as you all know, I am vastly against. And while I have many jokes for all you communists, if I included them all in this speech, the jokes would not be equally distributed. I often like to say, when you can't make them see the light, make them feel the heat. And I applied this strategy early in my presidency. After a little dispute with air traffic controllers, 12,000 were fired. It was after this federal government intervention that I realized why I switched from the left wing to the right wing. Our liberal friends in this country often like to refer to me as a sexist. I'd assume appointing Sandra Day O'Connor to the Supreme Court put claims to these arrests. However, I'd be proven wrong. As the sexist remarks continue to come my way, but oh no, we Republicans are hypocrites. Loyalty is something that everyone should value in all aspects of life, or at least that's what Jane Wyman told me. Thank you for these incredible last 8 years, and God bless the United States of America.
Well, there you have it, everybody. For better or for worse, this concludes this edition of the infamous President's Correspondents' Dinner. It's been a real honor to be your host, and I send my deepest thanks to all of our guest speakers. Hats off to you, Mr. President, and keep up the great work in Washington. This isn't the last you'll see of Ellen DeGeneres, and I plan on having my own show one day. So good night, everybody, and keep your eyes out.